Half-Life 1 is better than modern AAA games. Yes. And it's not even hard, because modern AAA games are made by retards. The people that made this game were smart. That's why it's good. With two exceptions. The Letters and Xen. Xen is bad because it was rushed. That's the sole reason. I know it was rushed, and that's why it's bad. But the Letters also, the Letters are just bad. I literally, my last playthrough of Half-Life 1, I died so much because of the Letters. It's horrible.
So, no Half-Life 3, eh? Maybe the real Half-Life 3 was the Half-Life 1 we made along the way. Whoa, hey, whoa, stop throwing stuff at me.
That one was bad.
We join you now with breaking news. Unknown and mid YouTuber Bag was accused of making bad jokes, a ridiculous clickbait title, and thumbnail. He's been found guilty on all counts and has been sentenced to a lifetime of hate in the comments section down below. Next up, the weather.
Okay guys, wait. Before you press enter on that hate comment, I can explain. I played Half-Life 1 for the first time recently. Yes, the first time because...
Wow.
I was 3 years old when the game originally came out. Now, don't get me
I was 16.
wrong. I wasn't too young or dumb to play the game or understand it. I was a smart 3-year-old. Hence why I was playing Metal Gear Solid 1 and coming to terms with the Shadow Moses conspiracy and the fact that I'd fallen in love with about 4 pixels that go by the name of Meryl. But I don't regret that one bit.
Same. No, not the character, but, you know, generally same.
Although I am slightly ashamed about the Meryl part. When I played Half-Life 1 at the ripe old age of 3-0 this time, I realized that I was having so much fun. So I thought to myself, when was the last time I genuinely had this much fun with a single player game's gunplay, story, environment, enemies? Now look, I know what you're thinking. Well done, asshole, you realized that a good game was good. But whilst I review the game today, I'm genuinely convinced that Half-Life 1 betters most AAA shooters in almost every department. And I know...
Yes, because it was made by people that are smart. That's literally all that there is to it.
There will be counter-arguments, like graphics, for example. But is it really so outlandish to say that I prefer this to this? I don't necessarily think graphics or realism is that important in some games, but what's important is the vibe and immersion that it achieves. Sometimes it's more fun being in less realistic environments. Like, if I wanted realism, I would just go outside. But fuck that. Half-Life 1 came out in 1998 from an, at the time, unknown developer called Valve Software. If you're watching this video, the chances are you probably know much more about the context around Half-Life 1 than I do. So I'm not here to forcibly patronize you if that's the case. But you know, some people like to be warmed up a little before we really get into the video, so this part's for them. But if you don't like it, you can go down to the chapter markers down here. Just be careful.
We watch all of it, all 35 minutes. And yes, graphics is not all. I'd rather play Half-Life 1 until I go to Zen and then I stop, than the last Assassin's Creed. I never played that. I have zero interest in playing it. It's just hot. It's disgusting. Fuck Ubisoft. And the same goes for basically, what was the last ego shooter that I played that was new? Did I try out? I think I tried out Counter-Strike 2 about the time when it came out, and I didn't like it because of basically only because of the menu and how you would join servers and stuff like that. Changing that from what it was in Counter-Strike and CSGO, horrible change. Shouldn't have done that. And since then, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. no ego shooter that came out since then made me want to play it. At least none that I can remember. Oh wait. Oh no, none. The only others that I played were retro shooters. Or literally just games that came out in the 90s. Literally. And I mean literally, that came out in the 90s. Which reminds me, I would like to play the original Prey on stream. Because I can guarantee you, no one played that game in the past 15 years on a stream. But yeah, no modern game has me go, oh yeah, ego shooter, had me go, yeah, I want to play this, because none of them are good, in my opinion. I have zero interest in them. They are also bleak, and they seem to be boring. On top of them being basically all just multiplayer games. I want to play things that are not multiplayer too, you know, and there's almost nothing there, which is a problem. Because it's all the same. It's all the same stuff.
Careful when you're down there, because there's a subscribe and a like button, so you don't want to hit. Oh, what's that? You subscribed? What's that? Oh, you liked it as well? What's that? You're writing a comment? Thank you very much.
Valve Software was a then new studio founded by former Microsoft veterans Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington.
Yep.
Despite being their debut title, Valve aimed to redefine the first-person shooter by combining narrative, game world, set pieces, gunplay, and enemy AI-driven encounters.
And they did.
Not that AI. This AI. They wanted to combine all of that into a seamless experience, and this approach immediately distinguished it from its contemporaries.
The game was published by Sierra Studios and entered a market dominated by fast-paced arena shooters, yet Half-Life's reception was still sexy.
Half-Life became one of the most critically acclaimed PC games of 1998, being nominated for and winning dozens of awards in a year full of absolute bangers, and it became a benchmark for storytelling and immersion in FPS design. Valve themselves would go on to build the Gold Source and eventually Source engines from this foundation, engines that powered games like Half-Life 2. And this was the start of Valve's mod-driven ecosystem that shaped PC gaming for a generation. So yeah, long story short, this is basically the origin story of Skibbity Toilet.
Half-Life released alongside some of the most influential games of the era.
Yes.
The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid 1, Baldur's Gate, StarCraft, Thief, to name a few. Even
Don't forget, wait, what are we talking about? Have I misheard something?
games of the era.
Skibbity Toilet.
Half-Life released alongside some of the most influential games of the era.
Yeah. Okay.
The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid 1, Baldur's Gate, StarCraft, Thief, to name a few. Even
Name a few. Yeah. I agree. But didn't Unreal 1 came out at the same time? I think it did. And Unreal 1 was kind of big back then. Sadly, they completely don't care about Unreal anymore. Fucking Epic Games. Stupid bitches. Fucking cunts.
in a year packed with defining titles, Half-Life stood out.
But how can this ancient relic of gaming history compare to its modern AAA counterpart? Well, it can't, because there are none. Modern first-person shooters have splintered into two extremes. On the one side, you have the cinematic blockbuster FPS. This is about cutscenes, spectacle, and set pieces. And on
Yeah, I hate it. I don't want all these cutscenes, I want gameplay.
the other side, you have the live service brain rot loop geared towards micro-robbing your deadbeat ass of all of its shekels. Sorry if that...
I also don't like that. For the most most part. I rather... to be fair, I play Arc Raiders, right? But yeah. I'm kind of done with live service games. I mean, there are so many out there. Why would I even try all of them when I already have something that works, like Ark Raiders. I'm fine with that. As long as the game stays good, I will play it. As long as I'm not totally bored, I will play it. And the thing is, I don't overplay it. I have less than 200 hours in the game, and I play since launch. And the game is still a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I really, really like it.
That felt like a bit of a low blow. I just don't have any sympathy for people that waste hours and hours of their lives on these games and buy skins like this.
Hell no, man. What the...
And then 1 year later, a new game comes out with the same name, and you have to do everything again. Awesome.
Almost entirely disappeared is the Half-Life 1 format, a single-player, story-driven, first-person shooter experience. I mean, I don't really need to give an example for you to understand what I'm saying, but the closest thing I can think of as a like-for-like comparison to Half-Life 1 that came out in the last 2 years or so is genuinely Black Ops 7. How f***ed up is that?
And that game is so shit.
Anyway, we're about 5 minutes into the video, and I haven't really started reviewing the game yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. But stick around till the end to find out why this is genuinely my favorite game that I've played all year.
Enemy engaged. Emergency. User dead imminent.
Half-Life begins with Gordon Freeman.
I literally played it last year, and I enjoyed basically everything before Zen. When we went to Zen, I almost rage quit the game. That's how bad Zen is.
Certified autist, gigolo, and science team member at the Black Mesa Research Facility. He's arriving to work for what should be a routine day. However, a test goes wrong, a little resonance cascade occurs, and portals to hell and/or space open throughout the facility.
Space, different dimension, something like that.
Out of these portals come unfathomable horrors from another dimension. The event tears through Black Mesa instantly. Hallways are wrecked, power systems fail, and staff are seemingly attacked before they even understand what's happening.
As you move through Black Mesa, you discover that the military have arrived. Oh, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, they're going to save us. Yeah, this is good news. They're going to save us. Look how safe they are. They got guns and boots and armor and stuff. Yeah, they'll be able to take on the aliens, for sure. We're good. This is fine.
Foreshadowing to the 7-hour war that Earth loses. And yes, spoiler alert.
However, the military response is not actually a rescue mission, but an attempt to contain the incident completely by cleansing the facility of both aliens and surviving staff. With that in mind, you're left to navigate a huge collapsing research complex while being caught between two sides of a battle. And this actually leads me on to the first thing that I love about Half-Life, and that's Black Mesa itself. The majority of the game takes place here, and I have to ask, whatever happens to games just being set in one place? It's the old adage, narrow but deep is better than wide and shallow. In this one facility, you get to visit a dam, science labs, radioactive underground sewage networks, the desert, kinda.
Yeah. And it's great. It is. Just, literally, it just is great. Wait, don't tell me we are 720p. Disgusting.
A rocket silo, some offices, an indoor train network.
And where I spent most of my time, the inside of this fish.
Oh, and yeah, the alien plane of Zen, which I'm counting as being set in Black Mesa because that's where the portal to it is. So, sue me, I guess. Why did games stop doing this, though? Why do we need every new game to be the size of fucking Greenland to be classed as interesting? No one ever just sets their game in a big evil facility anymore. When a game is set in one place like this, it also helps with the story continuity. In Half-Life, you're never taken out of the shoes of Gordon Freeman because it simply isn't needed. I think there's literally 2 small cutscenes in the entire game. One of them's at the end of the game, and the other one is just randomly halfway through when you get captured by 2 soldiers, and they literally just throw you in the bin. You also don't get this bullshit.
Yes. He's absolutely right. And it's fine. I don't need cutscenes at the beginning and the end of each level, and maybe even in the middle. It's... Why? Just make the game good. Don't waste your money on that.
of other characters having to text you or phone you to keep in touch. I really hate that trope.
Because everyone who is a character can just show up old school style, you know, like in person, face-to-face human interaction type beat. I know, terrifying. And this is made possible by the scope of the game just being a bit more focused.
What takes Black Mesa to the next level is the interactivity with the environment and the characters in it. And this is something Half-Life is famous for innovating in. There's a moment right at the beginning of the game where you first arrive at Black Mesa. You find yourself in a canteen with your colleagues, which is nothing special, but if you just start jamming E on this microwave here, you can cause a resonance cascade to this guy's casserole. This rule applies to basically everything. If it looks like you
tasty casserole. Man, I'm hungry.
can interact with it, you probably can. And if you can't, it at least makes a cool little beep boop or other fun sound effect in lieu. And it doubly applies to any characters that you can find. They'll all have a little chin wag with you if you click E on them, and sometimes even if you don't.
What the hell are you saying? You started talking to me.
You can even turn this light switch off, which leads to these nerds getting frustrated and walking all the way over to turn it back on. For 19...
Did he call the physicists nerds? Of course.
1998, this was a really unnecessarily cool detail, and I really like it.
The general attention to detail in this game is insane for the time. And I'm not talking about graphical detail, I'm talking about all the little touches they put in the environment to immerse you. Whether that's an openable locker for Gordon Freeman showing off his qualifications and books and this random love child, I guess. Or whether that's the vending machines that give you a can of soda when you hit E on them. You know, the soda drops down and you can drink it, but it doesn't actually do anything, it's just...
It does. It heals you. It heals you. It actually heals you.
It's just there for show. I love stuff like that. It's such a nice touch.
But what really elevates this detail and interactivity is the friendly and enemy AI. Now, don't get me wrong. It can have its janky moments. Actually, it can have a lot of janky moments. Like here, where the military that are sent in to kill everyone just ignore this science team nerd and decide to shoot me instead. Now, I'm absolutely certain that this was a racially fueled attack, and this is due to one of Gordon's grandparents actually being Hispanic. I don't think you
Really? I didn't know that. That's new to me.
knew that about Half-Life, did you? Yeah, it's canon. Seriously, go on the Half-Life wiki, look it up. Not long after this, I call the elevator, and the door just slams down and turns this brain-dead scientist into a fucking casserole.
Get your dork ass down to the test chamber, or else I will shove the sample up your ass.
Oh, where did he go? Oh, he got absolutely minced.
And not to overdo the point, at the literal top of this very same elevator, this happens.
No one kills the science team. Apart from me. Oh dear.
Grenade out.
That's not good.
I've been seeing.
You okay, boy?
Yeah.
Getting shot and eaten by one of those things.
Hello, Gordon.
Why are they like this? Huh?
Apart from all that, the enemy AI really blew me away in combat, and I'm specifically referring to the military soldiers.
The HECU AI in Half-Life 1 feels like it's always trying to interrupt you during combat. You rarely get to sit comfortably behind cover during a firefight and solve the fight tactically. Their movement and behavior keeps you on your toes throughout.
The best example of this is how the enemies seem to communicate with each other to coordinate an attack. If you take some cover during a gunfight, they might try and flush you out with grenades whilst making a specific call out for this whilst they do it. Or they might try and rush you.
Yes, the AI is literally good. Unlike in modern games where you get just rushed by the enemies and you mow them down. The usual. Lazy modern gaming.
Whilst you're not looking. If you reposition, another soldier might flank you whilst others keep firing. Now compare that to most modern shooters where enemies either rush mindlessly or sit in cover waiting their turn. They might have better pathfinding and or animations, but they rarely force meaningful decisions. Half-Life soldiers do, because they're designed with more thought and more love than we see in modern games today. And they can also hit scan you as soon as you pop out from cover. That's a great feature. The result of this is combat that's intense and genuinely fun, and it's why these encounters still stand the test of time for the most part.
The way they communicate plays into how immersed you feel in the game, and for some reason this goes so much further at immersing me in the game personally compared to something like modern lifelike graphics.
Now, allow me to nerd out here for a second. During firefights, HECU soldiers constantly communicate in ways that sell the illusion of a functioning unit under pressure. You'll hear lines like, "Cover me, I'm hit," and "Medic."
But it's not an illusion. There's a surprisingly impressive system behind all of this.
At the most basic level, Half-Life's AI is constantly doing two things: looking and listening. Every update, enemies check whether they can see you, whether you're inside their view cone, and whether they can hear you based on sound events in the world. That information gets boiled down into simple condition flags like enemy seen or not, and everything the AI does flows from those signals. If you break line of sight and reposition, the soldiers don't just keep firing forever. They stop, they move, they split up, they search for clues. The fight de-escalates into search.
I don't remember anything like that. But it doesn't mean it's not there.
Searching, flanking, or repositioning. That's because the moment you're no longer visible, the current combat plan becomes invalid and the AI is forced to build a new one. And crucially, the dialogue that I mentioned earlier, this isn't just for show. The soldiers aren't playing voice lines on random timers. They only speak after the AI has already confirmed an action is actually going to happen. If a grunt shouts, "Take cover," it's because the game has checked that cover exists and they're about to move there. If they lose sight of you and don't have a clear next action, they often go quiet. This tells you that the AI no longer has a clear plan to attack you. And that's what I like about it. The audio reflects actual intent. That connection between dialogue and behavior is a big reason the combat still feels so good today. Now, if you think that's cool, wait for this. The Marines also have the ability to work together in squads consisting of up to 4 members, including a squad leader. In a squad, they're capable of sharing information with each other, such as the enemy's location. The squad is erased when the leader dies, leaving the remaining soldiers to act independent from one another. These Marines are also coded to treat alien grunts and gargantuas as their arch nemesis. If either of those alien types are visible, they will choose to prioritize that as a target over everything else.
The takeaway.
I didn't know that. And I have played the game plenty. But I never looked actually deep into it because I didn't care. It's that simple. I didn't care. But it's interesting.
From all of this is that Valve were basically one step away from AI sentience in 1998. All of these details make me want to go and rewatch Interloper. If you guys haven't seen that, seriously, you have to go watch it. It's absolute cinema.
Oh, and my absolute favorite fun fact about these Marines is that in the German version of Half-Life 1, they were all replaced by robots.
Yeah.
This is due to the strict censorship rules that Germany had in place at the time. These rules basically meant that you couldn't show any human-on-human violence. So, instead of moments where you hear the HECU having...
Which is retarded. But the people that made those laws were retarded. It's that simple. And I have to know it. I am German. I had the German version. Everyone was a robot. And their blood was white. Because it was oily. And that was in all the games. All the games.
Very human conversations about the extinction level threat that is Gordon Freeman from the science team. You get this.
Interne Datenbank belegt. Diese Bioeinheit war bei der Explosion anwesend.
Now, everything I've just said there is enough for a game from 1998 to be considered something that stands the test of time and is 100% worth recommending that you replay or...
But the video is barely halfway through.
play for the first time in 2025. The depth of its systems is challenging what AAA games of today pull out and screw up on a regular basis, but Half-Life is still so much more. The gunplay, guns, and movement is genuinely the funnest combination that I've experienced all year, so let me explain why. To sum the movement up, you're basically just very, very fast. Gordon has 1 speed when moving normally, and that's top fucking speed.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
The game doesn't even have a button to warp, at least not one that I found in my playthrough, or one that I was necessarily going to be looking for. There is of course the crouch button, which is super slow and low, which means I guess Freeman has 2 modes, Tortoise and Usain Bolt. You'd think the devs of a game world like this would want you moving a little bit slower through it to make sure that you didn't miss any of its lovingly crafted world, but no. To add to this madness, when you do try to decelerate from your terminal velocity, you don't even come to a dead stop. You skid a little with every movement, like you're wearing ice skates. Now, the upside of this is...
Yeah, and I didn't like that. At least the last time I played it. I literally don't remember if that ever bothered me before. But last time, yes, it bothered me.
When you're in a big firefight, you feel like a cracked out Fortnite player. The downside is when the game asks you to do even the most basic of platforming.
Yes.
The platforming appears semi-regularly throughout the game. It's often used to give you a break from the combat, but it's at its absolute worst towards the end of the game in Zen and the Lambda complex. In Zen, for example, they have narrow walkways and funny shaped platforms that just take the piss in a very unfun way.
Yes. I hated this area. I hated the boss fight so much. Now, the boss fight itself is very easy if you know what you're doing. And after I knew what I am doing, I had no problems defeating the boss. But before I knew, I was here a lot. And it was horrible.
And there's this moment in the Lambda complex where you're climbing up and out of this hole. And if it wasn't already hard enough, there's electricity randomly zapping around the room and vortigons everywhere. And in my playthrough, I made it even harder by quick saving right at the bottom with no health. And this resulted in me feeling like I'd unintentionally subjected myself to a Groundhog Day of cock and ball torture mixed with only up. Okay, maybe I'm not selling the movement too well right now, but I promise, the feeling you get from skipping around the facility and during the gunfights is so worth it. It's another example of games back in...
It is. It really is. Oh my god, they really... The facehugger really has its mouth down there. Actually, you know, is it animated or is it a PNG? I don't know. Or a JPEG. I no clue. But it's there. It's nice. Nice detail. And it's actually very, very detailed.
That day being less focused on realism and more obsessed with fun. We would later see the movement speed be dramatically reduced and controlled a little bit better in Half-Life 2. The guns in Half-Life 1 are exceptional. On face value, they don't look like anything special, but the credit isn't scored in their appearance. The credit is scored in their balance and situational utility.
Okay, I have two options now.
Oh, you can destroy that thing? Okay. I didn't know that. So I got killed by it a couple of times. Of course.
I can review what I know is exceptional about these guns, or I can just be honest. Fuck it, I'll do both.
Half-Life gives you 14 weapons. Every gun basically has its own situation where it shines, and a reason to exist all the way through the game. There's no power curve where one weapon replaces another or anything becomes irrelevant. The crowbar stays useful as a powerful melee option to conserve ammo. The pistol never becomes useless due to its reliability and the amount of ammo you can get for it throughout the game. And if you do run out of the pistol ammo, you can always murder one of your colleagues. Stick around until later in the video to find out exactly what I mean by that. Even the weird alien stuff has really valuable characteristics and functions. The thought process behind the guns was not about progressing them, but giving you a really stable set of tools, then changing the challenge around those tools. Games of today...
Which is good design, you know, what the thing that modern games lack so much. And yes, there's a lot of shitting on modern games on this channel. Because, well, obvious reasons.
They don't do this anymore, really. The conventional firearms in this game are all about trade-offs and alternate fire modes. The Magnum hits like a truck, but you need to make every shot count. The MP5 is more chaotic and has a grenade launcher bolted on, while the shotgun is, well, it's a shotgun, and it has a double shot alternate fire mode. Even the crossbow isn't like a traditional sniper type. It's slow and powerful, but pretty limited in its applicability. Nothing really dominates, and the game tends to reward those who manage to carve out a moment to think about how they'll approach a fight and what they're going to use for it. As for the alien...
That's true. It's just true. The moment you stop for a moment and think about how to go about a situation, you're better off in the game. Now, if you have played the game 20 times through already, then you don't need it. Very obviously.
Sciencey stuff, you're firing living creatures, energy weapons that can hurt you instead of what you're pointing it at, bees that can hurt their target from around corners, and lots of explosives. Now for the honest truth. I didn't play this game thinking about the fantastic roster of guns and options and how to use them. Why, I hear you ask? Well, I think I was just having too much fun listening to the sound of these things. Okay, that might be a bit.
The sound of the guns is good. It really is. The audio is one of the strongest things of this game, in my opinion. I really like it. Same goes for Half-Life 2.
Of an excuse, but the truth is, I think on your first blind playthrough, you're not necessarily aware of the capabilities of all of the weapons. I didn't even know there were alternate fire modes for 80% of the damn game. I only started really understanding and using the major variety of weapons.
Yeah, alternate fire modes for weapons was a standard back in the day. It's only, in modern times that's not the case anymore, which is really bad.
In Zen, when I ran out of ammo for basically everything. I achieved this noble feat not by choosing my weapon depending on the encounter, like the game was designed for you to do, but through a strategy I like to call favorite gun first. If my MP5 had ammo, I was using it. Close range, long range, didn't matter. No ammo in the MP5, Python time, and so on until I was taking down the Nihilants with a crossbow and the AIDS hand or whatever it's called. I can already hear the comments. I didn't play the game properly. Yada yada yada, shut the fuck up. I had fun, goddammit. And if anything, this approach still led me to using all of the weapons eventually, which I think interestingly is still a testament to Valve's game design here. Both the intelligent player and the below average player, let's say, can have just as much fun approaching the game in their own ways. There's no proper way to play this to maximize the fun. Oh, and I forgot to mention the aiming system. If you're aiming near your target, it's got a really nicely balanced aim assist enabled. I would usually be against this, but when you're bouncing off the damn walls at the speed of sound, this comes in very handy. Half-Life always keeps it fresh though. Despite this mature system of enemy AI, addictive combat and movement, it doesn't just overuse it and think the game will be good enough. It's also very famous for its set pieces. The game consists of countless set pieces and mini set pieces.
Oh god.
These are sometimes in place of cutscenes, or to add flavor at regular intervals throughout the level, or to establish the setting of the game, for example. It shows
like that one, yeah. At the beginning, I think for almost 10 minutes, you are just on the rail. Just on a railway to your job, which is great. So atmospheric.
A refreshing level of intentionality that you don't get from the rinse and repeat modern open world games anymore. Now it's all about radiant quests, dynamic encounters, and smelling our own farts.
Yeah.
My favorite set piece, which I'm calling this instead of a boss fight, is the tentacle battle. It happens in the chapter Blast Pit, where you drop into a rocket propulsion silo.
It's probably one of my least favorite things about this game. I hate this part. It's annoying as fuck.
And see this. You can't damage these tentacles, shooting doesn't do anything. Instead, you're forced to understand how they work. The tentacles track sound and vibration, and this is told to us by a very pale and cancerous looking man. However, sometimes when I play games, I just don't listen to things people say, and it can really set me back when it comes to situations like this. Like, who the fuck are you and why are you in my face shouting at me? Go away. So, you're meant to distract them with grenades or crouch and slowly navigate around them. You branch off into side areas with their very own set pieces, enemies, and puzzles. And you do this to power up the rocket engine by turning on the oxygen, fuel, and power. Then you make the same dangerous run back through the silo to the control room. I got this! When you finally fire the engine, the heat incinerates the tentacles and clears the way forward, and it's all very epic. It's a cool mechanic and a boss fight that's ultimately solved in a different way than we're used to. And I say that because the game's been very shooty so far. It feels like a well thought out and implemented break from the combat. They didn't just say, give them some crappy puzzle to keep them awake and threw some shit in our direction. It combined some of the secondary features of the game into something more. It showed that no matter what you're asked to do in Half-Life, it can be really fun. Now let's take a look at what Black Ops 7 does to break up the combat, shall we?
Oh my god, that's so shit.
Oh, and one other point about these tentacles. Look how they react once they realize that the noise was a distraction. How immersive is that? Like, they feel like a real monster. They realize they've been tricked. They stop, let out a groan, and then go looking for the next sound to attack.
I guess the only place in the game that I would say one of their set pieces didn't work out at all was the mission on a rail. This is probably the worst mission in the game. Every first-person shooter has one. The tank mission, the AC-130 mission.
Yeah, everyone hates that mission at that level. Everyone. Well, actually, not me. I don't hate it. I don't. Then it's way worse.
You get my drift. But man, even compared to those examples, you at least get so much more out of this mission than those missions. With this cart, you can jump on and off at any time, change the speed, stop it, start it, change directions by shooting these signal things. You can literally get off and traverse the whole area by foot if you're conscious of your carbon footprint. You can choose to clear the way ahead first of enemies, or you can whack the thing up to turbo speed and drive by these dudes gangster style. And this is just an example of a bad level still having decent mechanics and love put into it. There's also a really respectable level of variety when it comes to the alien type enemies too. These aren't just lazy reskins with different abilities. The Vortigaunts are weak but hit like a dump truck.
That's not a dump truck.
The headcrabs are slippery little customers that I really struggled to hit with the crowbar, even if they are sucking on my toes. You've got the alien grunts that take a lot of ammo to take down and look like that one dude down at the gym that's on steroids. I think there's about 15 different enemy types in this game, which is a lot even by today's standards.
Yeah, I just Googled it. There's like 3 main enemy types in Black Ops 7. We're so in the wrong timeline. Like, why is that popular and games like Half-Life 1 don't exist anymore? This
money. And the people that make the games these days are millennials. Back then, they were Gen Z. Gen Z? Yes, Gen Z. Gen Z? No. Gen X. You know, the ones before millennials. Now, the really old millennials like me still were able to create stuff, but younger millennials, they don't. They're incompetent. They're so fucked in the head. It's impossible.
shit.
The one particular enemy that caused me the most fear and panic was the Ichiosaur. You get introduced to this fuck multiple times throughout the game, so much so that any unassuming body of water was basically guaranteed to have one of these guys in it. All of that is well and good, but the way the game ebbs and flows between different places, set pieces, enemy types, and puzzles is its best feature that you really have to go and play to understand why it feels so good even in 2025. Did you know that Half-Life 1 has choices in it? Yes, moral choices in an FPS from 1998. Say you've encountered a scientist, you've saved them from danger and are escorting them to safety. You get them somewhere safe and you turn to them and they're giving you this look. You think, I could just fucking blow your brains out, mate. Yeah, no repercussions. So you do it again and again. You do it every time. And you know what? It makes sense. Gordon doesn't say a word the whole game. He's a blank slate for the player to impose their personality or psychotic tendencies on. He can be good or evil, and it doesn't have to be a central and mature game system to be enjoyable. Both make sense in the context of the game. And when you shoot them and nothing happens, this is so realistic given the situation. People are dying everywhere. Who cares about this one old man? And on top of that, you often encounter them like one-on-one, alone, and there's no one else around. Like, who's going to punish me for letting this intrusive thought become an intrusive action? It's like if a tree falls down in the middle of the woods and no one is around to hear it, kind of thing. If you slide your gun into this old man's mouth and gently pull the trigger and no one's around to see or hear it, did it happen? I'd argue not. But this doesn't just apply to you and Gordon. You can even hear the HECU soldiers talking about killing scientists.
12 dumbass scientists and not one of them fought back. This sucks.
The game, with moments like this, demonstrates that there's a distinct lack of humanity on display in Black Mesa, which is strange, because every human here, before the resonance cascade occurred, was most likely a good person. You had military men, patriots, scientists, and security guards. No one is really a typical baddie, yet they're all fighting and killing each other. I mean, even most of the aliens that come through the portal apparently didn't even want to be here. Look, they have handcuffs on. It's interesting to think about. I'm also trying to make a case here that Gordon canonically slaughters all of the scientists and security guards, but I'm not sure it's working.
Really? Yeah, I don't believe that. I absolutely don't believe that that's canon. Absolutely not.
One thing for sure, though, is that those HECU men definitely had families. Now, that earlier point regarding the aliens not wanting to be here does have one exception, and that's this guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Is that thing a prisoner too?
Fuck.
In the later chapters, Gordon is transferred to Zen, the alien border world and location of the Nihilin. This guy is the super powerful being that's holding open the portal still to our world. And as Old Man Kleiner tells us, we have to be the one to defeat him, in what realistically feels like a Hail Mary from the science team. David and Goliath would be an understatement. Zen is obviously a huge change of pace compared to Black Mesa. It's practically the complete opposite in every single department.
Yes, and that's why everyone hates it. No one likes that shit. No one. Absolutely no one likes this.
You know, like vibe-wise.
The atmosphere becomes eerily quiet and unfamiliar. Only the sounds of the Zen wildlife and the strange hums of the alien world accompany you.
You even traverse the space differently now, with low gravity for longer jumps, and you're going to need this to avoid the endless voids surrounding you and below you. As Gordon progresses deeper, he reaches the Gonarch's lair, and this is one of the most memorable encounters in the game, I think. The Gonarch is a massive, grotesque creature with what is frankly a giant ballsack hanging below it. The fight is fairly lengthy, spanning multiple different areas as Gordon pursues this thing with bloodthirsty intent. Simmer on that for a second. Mr. Glasses here lands on a terrifying alien planet for the first time, and within 5 minutes he's chasing something 20 times the size of him through his own living room as it runs in fear. Gonarch might have one big ball, but Gordon has two, and his are somehow bigger. But Gordon doesn't stop there. He proceeds to tame and ride an alien bird, murder all of the inhabitants on yet another floating rock before... And this is when the game suddenly shifts. Blue shifts. If you thought this game didn't have any more surprises, you're wrong, because you've just stumbled into the survival horror section of the game. As Gordon traverses the next few areas, he starts to hear the unsettling groans and ramblings of the Nihilin. This is to show that we're getting closer to this super powerful being that needs to be introduced to our crowbar. The area we're in now is an alien...
I hate this area. I absolutely hate it. It's so rage-inducing. I said it earlier, I almost rage quit this shit. Man, it was so bad.
Factory, and the environment shifts in appearance to match this change in atmosphere. It goes from light sci-fi to full H.R. Geiger. The walls seem to be covered in bones and these columns covered in spiny things. After making it out of this area, we hear more from the Nihilanth, telepathically talking to us, telling us that they're the last of their kind. It has an oversized head, tiny legs that barely seem functional, and an obvious psychic vibe. When you enter the arena, the Nihilanth is just hanging around in front of you, shielded by several...
By the way, the arena? The arena.
It has an oversized head, tiny legs that barely seem functional, and an obvious psychic vibe. When you enter the arena...
That's 100% poop. I absolutely believe that 100% the Nihilanth's poop. I absolutely believe that.
The Nihilanth is just hanging around in front of you, shielded by several large fireball thingies that represent its shields. There are also 3 crystal nodes embedded around the chamber, and he periodically uses these to recharge his shields.
Yes, and you can destroy them. You can destroy them. Which is one of the first things I realized about the fight last time I fought him.
It attacks with the power of piss lasers and purple drank bombs. It teleports enemies into the arena, and it continuously assaults you with psychic attacks and teleportation balls that will take you out of the arena and drop you into a number of different new hells. And each of these hells has its own challenges. This teleportation attack is by far the most devastating, as you have to waste ammo and resources in getting back into the main area with the Nihilin. Oh, and one of these small hells even makes you platform your way out whilst getting attacked by these flying fucks. The space itself becomes part of the challenge. The arena is tall and very open, and movement is centered around verticality rather than running between covers. To make progress, you have to destroy the crystal power source.
Actually, you can just destroy it. You destroy the crystals. You hide behind one of those fire thingies on the ground that's close to the wall, and you come from cover, shoot him, go back, cover shooting. And when he is down to attacking you only with one lightning thing, that's where you can kill him. How do I know it? Because I did it.
That are sustaining its shield. This means using the jump pads to launch yourself into the air and lining up shots mid-flight. You're also constantly moving to evade threats that he spawns in around you. Once these crystals are destroyed, the Nihilanth becomes vulnerable. Its head opens up like your mum's legs on a Friday night, exposing its weak spot. When it finally dies, the entire structure destabilizes. Zen begins to collapse, and the game cuts sharply away from combat to the G-Man. What do you mean, who is the G-Man? Wait. Oh, I haven't mentioned the G-Man this whole video. Oh, for fuck. Now, you know what? I don't think I need to mention this guy. If you don't know who the G-Man is and you're watching this video, comment down below. I genuinely do not think it's possible to have this game coming up in your algorithm and you don't know who the G-Man is. I guarantee...
True.
There will not be one genuine comment like this. So yeah, the game concludes with the G-Man on behalf of his employers offering us a job. I actually cannot fathom who or what this guy's employers are. If you think about it, all of the smartest people on Earth were probably in Black Mesa. Then you have the Zen creatures and the Nihilanth, which is a major step in intelligence above them. Then you have the Combine that, spoiler alert, the Nihilanth was running from. Then you have the G-Man who seems to be...
Oh! Is that canon? I didn't know that. Why did no one tell me? Why did it take me 22 years since Half-Life 2 came out to be told that the Nihilanth ran from the Combine? Why? Why did no one tell me? No, I'm pissed.
Puppeteering the events like it's just another Tuesday or something for him. Then above him, you have his employers. Like, what? There are some serious levels to the forces at play in this series, and they just haven't been explored enough. And this is why people are so desperate for Half-Life 3. But that's besides the point. At the center of all of this, undefeated, is Big Bald Gordon the Crowbar Freeman, hero of Earth and conqueror of space. So yeah, after all that, I don't think Half-Life 1 is just still good for its age. I think it's still good full stop. Not because it's technically impressive by modern standards or because nostalgia's doing heavy lifting. After all, this was my first time playing it. But I think it's because every part of it is pulling in the same direction. The AI, the level design, the sound, the movement, the guns, the pacing. None of it is bloated. None of it is wasteful. It's made with passion and creativity. It's a game that's made to be played rather than watched. And somehow in 1998, Valve managed to make something that modern AAA shooters, with all their money and tech, just don't want to make anymore. So no, there still isn't a Half-Life 3.
Because they are... I guess they think that people need all those cutscenes and stuff like that, which they don't. Literally, no one actually cares. If you had the cutscenes and they weren't cutscenes, they were just you as a player seeing that, it would be fine. It would actually be better.
But honestly, after playing this, I kind of get why. Because when you make something this tight, this influential, and this fun, and repeat that magic 3 times after, by the way, comment down below if you want me to review the other games, it must be monumentally terrifying to even begin to think about how to deliver that again for the fans. And the hype only grows the longer they wait.
But on the bright side, Old Bag's recommendation is to go and play Half-Life 1. You won't regret it. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see me cover next, and subscribe if you want to see more videos similar to this one. Bag out. Love you all very much, and I want to give you a kiss on the cheek.
With the exception of the kiss on the cheek, everything he said. Like, comment, subscribe. Good video. Really, really good video. Really good video.